Question, how y'all go from flossing on niggas to insinuating Grand Theft Auto? Like, what the fuck happened? What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews Hip Hop Data. We got an album review today. Well, it's more like an EP, y'all. I mean, I thought it was an album, but then I looked at the track list. I was like, it need more songs, nigga. That ain't enough. So apparently, it's an EP, but it's from a group that I've been a fan of for a hot minute. Well, actually, I was sleeping on these niggas, and then their last album won me over finally, and now they got some new shit. So we had to talk about it. These motherfuckers are back. They dropped the new shit. They was flossing, and now they apparently doing criminal shit like stealing cars. It's alleged. I mean, they said like. They said like. Talking about the new EP from Injury Reserve entitled Drive Like It's Stolen. I mean, shit. I mean, do what you gotta do. I mean, is it that hard? I mean, I know it's... Nigga, if they stealing cars, nigga, I ain't making it for shit. Fuck. For those who don't know, Injury Reserve is a three-man group out of Arizona. It consists of two rappers and a producer. The rappers are Steppa J Groggs and Richie with the T, and then the producer is Parker Corey. And they have come from the Arizona hip-hop scene, and they have risen up to really get some notoriety on their names. They dropped a dope album last year, Floss, which was actually in my top 15 of the year. And then before that, they dropped Live from the Dentist's Office. So they've been really, really consistent with their work, and they've been getting better and better as the years go on with their content. So now we're going to see if Injury Reserve is coming back with the three-peat and gave us a dope EP that'll hold us off into their next full-length album, or if these niggas should just get out the fucking car before the cops show up, because nigga, y'all all going to jail, nigga. This is not like the video game. You just can't start shooting motherfuckers and try to get 5 stars and then just resurrect at the hospital. It don't work that way. Stop while you're ahead. Let's talk about the shit. Now, when I first popped in this album, I tuned into the production, which is all done by Parker Corey, who is a very talented and mad slept-on producer, just like the rest of the group. I quickly realized that Injury Reserve went with a more darker, more somber, more low-key vibe around with this EP. Like, their last album had a lot of really hype energy to it. It had its own somber tones to it on the album too, but this project here is majority of it is really just like dark, menacing sounds, but it works for the sound of Injury Reserve and the rappers Richie with the T and Steppa J Groggs, and also with their content. There's a lot of great instrumentation on this project, a lot of hard-hitting drums, some great bass lines, a lot of crazy piano on here as well, and then there's also some cool vocal samples and chopped up sounds here and there that are all quirky and weird, but just fits in with the mold and style of this project. And when it comes to the rappers, Steppa J Groggs and Richie with the T, they fit these beats really, really well with their gruff, hard-hitting delivery, but their content is very, very personal at times, very introspective, very just woke and aware. They talk about a lot of different subjects that goes on personally as well as socially, and they really cram in a lot of great material and a lot of great lines within the 7-track EP, which I can appreciate. And as general skills go, Richie and Steppa have really improved as MCs, and when you go through their verses, they have a lot of great storytelling on here, a lot of great lyricism, clever lines. It's really, really dope to see them improve and just get better and better as each project goes along. Their hooks on here are nice, and just their chemistry in general with one another and on the beats as well, done by Parker Corey, all come together and just seem to get more and more better. And eventually at this rate, these dudes are gonna break through and they're gonna really just get out of that sort of like underground pocket of fame, and they're gonna really go to another level where people are gonna really start to see just how talented these guys are. I think they just need that one song or that one project that's gonna break them through, and then they're gonna just explode on the scene. I know that's gonna happen because these dudes just got all the right pieces to the puzzle to be a really, really impactful group in hip hop. And the only real drawback to this project to me personally is actually within the first 2 songs, which I don't care too much for. They're not terrible songs. I just didn't really get into the project until song 3 hit. That's when I really, really liked it. And those songs 3 through 7 really, really just carry the rest of the album. But the first 2 were just like cool, decent for the most part. I can listen to them, but they definitely weren't my favorites. And I thought, you know, if they would have just took those 2 songs off and they had those last 5, this would have been an even stronger and more consistent EP in general. Now, you know I gotta give you my top 5 tracks, but this time around, y'all, I'm not gonna do a top 5 because there's only 7 songs on the entire EP, and I pretty much just told you what my favorite 5 songs were, which were songs 3 through 7, and the first 2 were just meh. So I'm just gonna give you a quick breakdown of each song and then just tell you why I feel the way I feel about each song, and then that'll be it. So the first song, 10 Tenths, opens up the project, and this song, like I said, is just cool. The beat on here is kind of quirky and weird and all over the place. It sounds like something you would have heard probably on like Vince Staples' last album, but it works for these guys and it works out well with the verses. But the thing is like, it's just a cool song overall. Richie and Steppa are just pretty much addressing the competition, just opening up the project, you know, and just doing what they do. But the song was just like, to me. I mean, I wish it would have been a little bit more better, a little bit more energy, but it's cool for what it is. But, you know, it's just something that I didn't feel like I would have to go back to that much. And with it being an opening track, I was hoping I would have got a little bit more out of that than this track. But it's cool, it's decent. I don't hate the song, but it's just, you know, not one of my favorites. And then we go into the song See You Sweat, which is probably my least favorite song on here. It's got a really up-tempo beat on there, and it really just is pretty much the funnest sounding track on the project, but it's just something that I really just didn't get into that much either. I mean, it's a cool song, like I said, for what it is. It grew on me a little bit more when I first heard it. I really didn't care for it, but now I think it's just decent for the most part. But these are the two songs that I have to say really are just like those songs that I'm like, mad on. I can play it in the sense of the whole project, but it really isn't the ones I'm gonna go back to. Then we get the song 91 Cadillac DeVille, and this is when the EP picks up for me personally. I really like the direction of the EP from this point on, and this is where they're pretty much giving you those more somber, mellow, low-key vibe sounds, but it works well with the content and the tone. You got Steppa J. Groggs talking about his 91 Cadillac and the first time he got it and just, you know, how he felt and what he did and how he fucked it up and it got towed and shit. Pay your goddamn note, nigga. I mean, shit, it was a 91. It couldn't have been that much. And then you got Richie with a T, who's pretty much talking about love in certain senses, how he kind of needs it in certain ways, shapes, or forms. And it just comes together with just two very solid verses from two different perspectives, but it works out. The next song, Boom, or Boom Boom Boom, because it's ×3, is probably my favorite song on here. This gives me that real, just like, you know, oh shit vibe. This is pretty much the oh shit of the entire project, and it's just got a hard-hitting beat, a crazy hook from Richie with the T, and I just love the vibe. It's got this really menacing piano that just leads into it, and then these hard-hitting drums go in. Beat is crazy, verses are crazy, everything on here just works out well. And both Richie and Steppa come through with some crazy good lines. I like how Richie's talking about ghostwriters and how like older rappers are complaining about ghostwriters, but then what about when Ice Cube was writing for NWA? That's ghostwriting, so he kind of put that on the spot, which kind of made me think like, yeah, you're right, he was right about that shit. And Steppa has a really dope line at the end of his verse where he's like, no sick calls, bro, I always go in, still bumping Jill, nigga, life is golden, because talk about Jill Scott, that song, living my life like it's golden. That shit's fucking dope, I love it. I'm gonna listen to that shit right after this, because that shit was fucking so good back in the day. But it's a dope song, one of my favorites, my favorite hands down. I love this track, and it just gives the energy and the vibe of Injury Reserve that I really just got into them and really just became a fan of them from. So this shit is dope. Check it out if you haven't, because it's fire. It then goes into the song North Pole, which is pretty much the first song they released to announce this project. And this is a really, really somber, just like really low-key song. Probably the most sad, somber sounding song of the entire project, but I like it. It sounds cold. It sounds very just like, you know, full of emotion and heavy, just like regret and deep sadness on the beat, and it translates that way with Richie and Steppa's verses as well. You got Richie who talks about, I guess, a friend who he lost, and he saw his father, and he was just reminiscing about the times that they had and just how much he missed his friend. And then you got Steppa just reflecting on his life and decisions he's made and things he's gone through, but it's just got this real just heavy vibe to it. It's got a really, really dope hook by this guy. I think his name is Austin Feinstein or some shit like that, something like that, but it's a really good, strong hook, and it just ties together the whole vibe of this song, and it's probably my second favorite song in the entire project. And at first I was like, why the fuck they calling this song North Pole? Ain't got shit to do with the North Pole or Santa or elves or Christmas. Then I realized the song is cold. It's a cold fucking song. I get it. North Pole's cold. I'm slow, I'm dumb, but it's okay, I figured it out. It then goes into the song Colors, which is a really dope song and more of the socially aware song of the entire EP. It addresses, you know, what minorities go through, the black and the brown people in America, what they gotta overcome and what they gotta deal with, and the things they have to do just to attain success and respect in this world and in this country. The beat on here is really, really dark and menacing, and it just fits very well, especially with Richie with the T's, like really just low-key, like, you know, sinister sounding voice that he did on this one, and it really just comes together real well, and I love this song. It's probably my third favorite on here, next to Boom and North Pole. I mean, I'll tell you right now, these last five are flame. They just getting it. And then it closes out with the song Chin Up, which is pretty much like after all this somber, sad, low-key shit, it's just sort of like that, like light at the end of the tunnel track where he's like, yo, at the end of the day, keep your chin up. Do what you gotta do to get through life and get to where you need to go, and don't give up. And that's pretty much the motto that this song is trying to tell. Richie with the T, Steppa J. Groggs, they are just saying like, yo, whatever it is you wanna do, whether it's like music or whatever it is, anything that you have a dream or a passion or a goal for, go out there, do that shit, keep your chin up, because you're gonna make it. Look at these niggas, like look, they was probably feeling the same way we was all feeling. Now look at them, they're getting reviews and they getting all this kind of attention and they still working towards it, but you know, there's the light at the end of the tunnel. Just keep your chin up, chest out, and do what you gotta do. It's a dope song, dope way to close it out. I liked it. And that's all the songs, y'all. And overall, I think Injury Reserve came through with a really solid EP. A lot of great songs on here. Some here that are just cool to me. Is it an amazing EP? No, but it is something that is really well put together, and I think is a good thing to hold us over until the next full-length album. And it shows also that Injury Reserve can stay consistent. They can continue making solid music, and they can continue just keeping that momentum going, which is what I like to see. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that Injury Reserve Drive Like It's Stolen is an overall very solid EP with a couple songs that I could have done without with, but overall I enjoyed this entire project, and it shows that they are still consistent and working towards even more and more better music in the future. All I'm saying is that Richie with the T, Stepper J. Groggs, Parker Corey are a great group. They work well together. The beats on here are amazing. The verses and the content on here work really well. And overall, all these songs on here are solid to great. I mean, there are no songs I hated. Just the first two were just mad to me compared to the other 5 songs that closed out the album. Those are really, really fantastic. And I just can't wait to see what they got in store for their next full-length album, which I'm pretty sure isn't going to come out this year because it's kind of late in the year. So we're probably going to get another full-length next year in 2018. So I'm looking forward to that. But this is a good hold off for us. And I think this is something that you can enjoy if you're an Injury Reserve fan, or even if you're not. There's still some really good songs on here that I think you can relate to and just vibe out with. So all I gotta say is that for me, Injury Reserve Drive Like It's Stolen is not Granddad approved, but I will give it a very highly Granddad recommended. So go check it out. Listen to it right now. It's been out for a minute, y'all. Y'all probably already heard it. I'm late as fuck. I'm sorry. I had to move. Y'all like the new place? It don't look too different, right? I try to keep it looking the same. But overall, like, I mean, it's a good motherfucking project. So check it out if you have not yet. And if you have, let me know what you think about that shit. But I got nothing more to say. Injury Reserve Drive Like It's Stolen. It's very highly Granddad recommended. So go listen to the shit. But don't listen to it in a stolen car. That's not going to work out. It will not work out at all. Flip it. Alright, y'all, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Injury Reserve Drive Like It's Stolen if you've heard it. If you have not heard it, then you just as late as me, so I don't feel that bad. But it's a solid EP. A lot of great songs on here, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do next because I know it's going to be that fire. Previous videos on the side as well as my latest single. Check that out. Show us some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram. Links in the description below. And subscribe. Button on the screen. Button below. Woolly Reviews. Twice a week. I'm playing catch up, y'all. I got a lot of videos to drop. I'm going to also be dropping a gameplay today, so look out for that shit, as well as other good shit, indie spotlight, all that shit's below. The Patreon, show me some love on the Patreon. I got some ideas going, but we got to get that Patreon community up, so show your boy some love, hit that up, and everything else is in the description. So you know what, we back in the game. It's been a little bit, but we back. Let's get this going. So until next time, I take my leave. Granddaughter, Injury Reserve, Drive Like It's Stolen. It's a good fucking EP, y'all. Can't wait for the album, but stay out of the stolen cars. I mean, maybe it ain't stolen. Maybe y'all just trying to, I don't know. I think they stole that shit. I really do. I mean, at least still a nice car. It looks like a Honda or some shit. That's really, I mean, you're trying to keep it low-key, I guess. That's probably what it is. I'm out of here.